This is Curtis, Nebraska. We're at the intersection of 5th and Howard right now, going south. I'll go ahead and continue on down this way. There's a funeral happening at one of the churches, a pretty big funeral, so we'll just go in this direction. See all these cars lined up? The church is a block over. All these cars on this side are for the funeral because it's so many cars over there. Anyway, that's on the right, City Barn, left the City Barn, and side like the community trash dump. So we'll go up, take a little back way here. Oh, let's see here. Okay. Across the intersection of the highway. Okay, that big building right there, that's BSB Construction. They do like dirt work and road grading and stuff. And then this other big building on the right here is the fire department. Curtis Rural Fire Department, as well as Frontier County Ambulance. The building on the left is the community center. It's the Curtis Community Center. It was built back when I was here before 2008. When I got here in 2004, there was a push to get it done. A lot of people were against it because they felt that their taxes were going to go up and all this other stuff. But then this gentleman named George Garlick, who grew up in, his more older teen years and such, he had there's the main entrance. He decided to donate $1 million to get the thing kicked off. There it is, Curtis Community Center. This parking lot is packed crushed asphalt. Don't ask me why it was never done real correctly, but BSB kind of donated this work, but didn't donate it, and it's just a mess. So, one good thing about this place, it has a gymnasium in it that was built for like high school tournaments and stuff. But over here, I'm not going to spin around. There's people going around. The American Legion is over here. There's like a really large kitchen, and then an area for sitting down and eating or meeting or whatever. That was actually built so that the senior center could use it rent-free. They refused for whatever reason. So American Legion moved in over here, and senior center took where the Legion Hall used to be, which is better. The old senior center had steps and shit. So this is the Valley View Inn. This was also built when I was here before. It was built by a gentleman who apparently went around, and that was kind of his business, was to put these hotels in some of these towns, smaller towns. He saw a need here because we have Nebraska College of Technical Agriculture, and so he saw a great opportunity because of the different graduations and stuff like that. And it's the only real hotel in a 40-mile radius. But then for some reason he went to back out and leave and all that. I'm not sure exactly what happened after that, but the hotel, it wound up being bought up by a family who owns a ranch south of town, and it's really nice in there. So they've done a lot to it. Curtis also has Arrowhead Meadows. I'll show you the sign here. It's Arrowhead Meadows. It's a golf course. It's a 9-hole golf course. Off to this, down the side of the road, there's like a practice spot or something where you can hit balls all day long. And then just to the right here, they have, how many? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 or 7 paved camping spots with power hookup and such for campers. They used to have sand green or sand and oil green golf course east of town, close to the airport. Yes, we have just a small little tiny airport for private planes. That's new. They used to not have special parking, but yeah, there's like an upper level, and then there's the clubhouse there with a restaurant, such, and then there's the lower level here parking, which every time I would come over before, you were able to do the lower level or upper level, but it looks like they changed, which is probably a good thing because everyone was trying to get the upper level, and after a while, you just can't. There's a little walking trail. Currently, I know the walking trail goes through the golf course and such, but I think the goal is to get it to go all the way up to the high school or something like that. So anyway, we'll exit out of here. Above the golf course, we'll go up there real fast. So, the city of Curtis somehow has this land, whether it's just one of those that the city owns it and that's how it is, or they bought it or something. But what they did was they made a deal with everybody, or deal is for anybody, is they would give you a plot of land to build a house upon. So you get houses like, I can't get around that way, like that one there. Keep an eye on it when come back down, which is, it's got a deck there that overlooks the golf course. You can't really see the golf course through all the trees, but really pretty. A friend's daughter, when she got married, they did some pictures up on that balcony. But anyway, it sits high up above the city, and it looks like someone's putting in a new house there. I thought so, because that did go down the hill. So yeah, the way that is built is that house there looks like the front door is kind of ground level, and the back door is from the basement. So, but they have, it was one of those that you get the. Let me make sure I explain this right. The house way up here. If you wanted to build a house up on one of these plots, you would have to go to the city and apply, in a sense. And I think they'd ask you to show up to a council meeting, because at the council meeting they would hear any arguments for or against, which they have to. But anyway, the purpose of it is so that the city could officially sell you the land. And the contract you would enter into is, there's that house I was talking about with that big patio. It's another one where you park right there at ground level, but you go downstairs and you can walk out the back door. It's built into a hill. But anyway, the city owns this. They have a purchase price of whatever it is. For some reason, $50,000 is sticking in my head. $50,000 to buy a plot of land for building a home. And then you have, I believe it's 5 years to have the home completed or something. And it's it has to meet certain things. You can't buy the land and put a single wide trailer home on it. I have wondered, seeing how some double wides are anymore, I have wondered if you can put a manufactured home in there. But there's certain rules that apply, and you build your house and go back to the city, and they forgive your loan. It's one of those where you have 5 years to build on it for it to be forgiven. Otherwise, it's like 5 years and 1 month. Payments start at whatever the price is for it. So we're going to go to the outer edge of town. The sign says Ag College, the Agricultural College. So it may be hard to see in the video, but off to the right there, you can see the houses on the hill. The Nebraska College of Technical Agriculture is a branch of the University of Nebraska. Here, a lot of more like agricultural type, and looks like they have some sort of a rodeo going on. There's a livestock teaching center. They'll do rodeos, cow sales and stuff. They have all these classrooms. They have a building for learning vet tech. Just all kinds of stuff. The original structures were built a long time ago, because this used to be what they called the state high school, because you'd have all these tiny little one-room schoolhouses kind of thing all across Nebraska. And so they decided to make a high school so that high school students could get a proper education, because usually you'd have more lower age kids than upper age kids. So this way, all kids could go to high school and just kind of start their lives. Let's go this way. The other direction, there's a Lutheran church, and right there on the corner was the Berean church. Over here is the Catholic church. Let's see here. There's the rectory, and there's the fellowship hall and such. So, and to the right here is the medical clinic. Let's see here. Let's keep on going down this road here. There was a bed and breakfast here up this road at one time, at least when I was here before. Whether or not it's still here, I don't know. There was a Congregational church. When I started, I was at 5th and Howard. That used to, on that corner there, used to be a Congregational church. Sometime between, say, 2008 and probably within a couple years after that, they closed the church. It was a nice big church, but it only had a attendance and membership of about 15 people. When the weather was bad, the pastor couldn't make it in because she lived 40 miles away. So when that happened, they would, the pastor would call, cancel services there, and about half that church would come to the Methodist church to worship. On the right over here, there's a swimming pool and some, is this where the tennis courts are? Yeah, tennis courts are back behind the basketball courts. The Medicine Valley Elementary School is a large 2-story structure, brick. I think it was built in the 30s. But that is the elementary school. We're going up this hill here. People call it Castle Hill just because it's its thing here. On the right is this nice big house. I knew the people that used to own the property. They're great people. I always joke because at one time you could sit on the front porch and watch football games, and now you can't. Well, because there's big pine trees, and it looks like the current owners took the pine trees out. There's the high school football field. It's made for 8-man football, I believe it is. Oh, sorry. Brad. What? The place on the left that we passed was the veterinarian's office, and he does all kinds of livestock here. Going around this little road here, and we're coming down to Medicine Valley Junior and Senior High School. And the reason it's called Medicine Valley instead of Curtis, as the story goes, is Maywood, a town about 7 miles to the west, has their schools. Except I think all ages go into one building. They, yeah, I'll get to this in a minute. That big building across there, that is Senior Living Choices, and I'll talk to you about that in a minute. But apparently years ago they tried to combine the schools, and in doing so, it was going to be nice. They're going to put the high school somewhere in the middle of these two towns. They had a plot of land where they could put the high school in, a nice football field, a nice parking lot, the whole 9 yards. But then it became like, who was going to pay for what kind of thing, and that fell through. And literally, that has been the biggest headache for people for many, many years. Because even the students, the high school students, are like, I don't see what the big deal is, and blah, blah, blah. And then they become adults and, oh, if they would have done this way back when, we could have blah, blah, blah. It's like, people, you can't have both. Just, pick or choose. Pick or choose. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of big houses here. Go up here at the intersection, and I'll take you down Castle Hill. Now, if that looks like gates to close off this road, you are correct. We're at West 4th and Park Avenue, and we're going to go down West 4th Street. It is a really big drop. And then at the intersection here at Oregon 4th, they have gates to stop the northbound, southbound traffic. I knew that the ones were up at the top of the hill, and part of me thought that maybe they were just there to not have cars come down, because it's too steep to really plow it, to effectively plow the road. So they would close it off, but at the same time, it's a great sledding hill. And I don't remember the bottom of the hill or there towards the bottom, having the northwest gates. So either that was just to keep people from trying to jump on it, or to keep it close so kids could keep sledding down it. But from what I hear, you have to be really gutsy to run down that hill. Back to the right was the co-op, convenience store, gas station, blah blah blah. Which reminds me, do they have propane tanks? I don't see propane tanks in this town. I need to fill a propane tank. Then here, this is the one traffic light. It flashes red along Highway 23, and it flashes yellow for Highway 18, which goes from here south to Stockwell and such. Big sign, big marquee, so everyone knows what's going on. A couple cafes, the Vineyard Christian Fellowship Church, Brown's Hardware and Lumber over there, and back over here is Consolidated Telephone and Internet. They used to have, the sign still says cable. They used to have cable TV, and this was kind of like, it was like Curtis Cable or something. Consolidated bought it up, or it was Curtis Telephone. Consolidated bought it, and apparently a lot of people had bought stock in Curtis Telephone 50, 60 years ago. Apparently they walked away with hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not more, some of them did, because of what that place was sold for. But then eventually they decided to no longer carry cable because it wasn't cost effective for the company. And so if you live in Curtis, Nebraska, either you have to have streaming, a television that'll stream, or or satellite, or you just don't have TV. I had already started streaming before I moved here. That building, I'm not sure what it used to be. It was turned into a gym at one time, and now I don't know what it is. And then to the right here, there used to be a lumber yard and a newspaper office, a couple buildings there, and they caught fire, it all burned down. And so the Natural Resource District used to have a couple little office spaces on this block, and they built a brand new building here and took care of that. Town and Country Market, just a little grocery store. Some of these old buildings, the old bank building is a lawyer's office, Welch Financial and Insurance. There's a little cafe. Have yet to go in there. The mall is there. There's another bank. Inside the mall is First Central Bank. It used to be just a little office for loans. There's the sheriff's office. To the left is Blaze Funeral Home and the Star Theater. Here is the Methodist Church. That is the church I used to preach at. Wow. Yeah. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of cars. So, go up here, and then I'll turn here, and you get to see the city park. That is the city park, and you see its cars. And brand new playground equipment. They used to have just typical metal ones or something that was becoming old and worn out, and they had a big fundraiser to buy brand new equipment, put stuff in, that kind of stuff, and that's what they did. So I'm not sure why this person's parked in the middle of the road. That tends to happen a lot. Someone pulls up, and yeah, that's what's going on there. They're just talking. So that is pretty much Curtis in a nutshell. There's plenty more streets and such. But what I've described pretty much talks about all of Curtis, I think. So there you go. That's Curtis, Nebraska. Bye.